Let me ask you a question. Why do you eat? Some of you may say, I live to eat, and some may say, I eat to live. However, do you know what happens to the food after you swallow them? It gets digested and it is absorbed into the blood, then into billions and trillions of cells in your body. Let's study how it happens. Digestion is a complex process associated with series of connected organs. Not only that, many accessory organs too. And we can define the digestion as it's a process of turning large complex food into small simple products. But remind you, they must be organic products. The digestion undergo two types of methods or two types of phases, mechanical phase and a chemical phase. In the mechanical phase, large food are turned into small pieces of food. In the chemical phase, they are turned into simple substances. For example, when you eat carbohydrates, starch for example, they are polysaccharides. They are turned into monosaccharides or glucose in the chemical phase. So let's study using the digestive system. So let's study the series of connected organs, starting off with buccal cavity or the mouth, then the pharynx, then the esophagus, the stomach, then the small intestine here. It can be further divided into duodenum, jejunum and the ileum. Then the colon, then rectum and the anus. Actually, what happens there in the buccal cavity? The food starts its digestion, the mechanical digestion as well as the chemical digestion. In the mechanical digestion, teeth and the tongue are associated there. The teeth cut the food, chop the food, tear the food, even grind the food. Not only that, 3 pairs of salivary glands in the mouth are secreted on the saliva onto the food. Then the food gets mixed up with saliva, and saliva contains a certain chemical known as salivary amylase. It is very popular as ptyalin. The ptyalin can convert the starchy food into maltose. So chemical digestion gets started there. Not only that, the mechanical digestion too. Then the food in the buccal cavity is pushed into the posterior part of it, and it means the pharynx. The pharynx is a common passage for both respiratory and digestive tracts. The food enters into the pharynx as bolus. So the bolus has to select either to travel on esophageal tract or in the respiratory tract. But at the start of the respiratory tract, there is a cartilage flap, the epiglottis. The epiglottis cover up or close up the respiratory tract, and it prevents the entry of food into the respiratory tract. As a result, food is pushed into the esophagus. Initially, the esophagus is shrinked or constricted. When the food touches the esophagus, the wall of the esophagus contracts or squeezes the food down towards the stomach. So it happens rhythmically. This rhythmical way of motion is known as the peristaltic movements, and this process is known as the peristalsis. The food gets enter into the stomach as a result. The shape of human stomach is J-shaped, but it depends on how you eat. After having a sound meal, it won't look like J-shape anymore. When the food arrives, even before the food arrives, the gastric juices are added into the stomach. So it contains hydrochloric acid, mainly hydrochloric, and pepsin. Here the hydrochloric acid eliminates all the bacteria present in the food, and it activates the enzyme pepsin. Initially the pepsin is inactive. The hydrochloric makes it active. Thereafter, the pepsin can convert the protein content in your food into polypeptides. What are polypeptides? It's a mid-product of protein digestion. So proteins, polypeptide, finally into amino acids. So it's a mid-product of protein digestion. The food remains in the stomach for about 3 to 4 hours. Then the food in the stomach is pushed into the first part of the intestine, the duodenum. Reminding you, here the food is acidic, so it is known as the chyme. There we can find two accessory organs, gallbladder and the pancreas. The gallbladder releases bile juice onto the food. Actually, the gallbladder cannot produce bile juice. It is produced in the second largest organ of the body. What is it? The liver. The largest organ of the body is the skin. The second largest is the liver. The liver produces bile juice and store them in the gallbladder. When bile juice arrive and mix up with the food, it converts the lipid content in your food into small droplets. We study it as the emulsification of lipids. So what do you mean by the word emulsification? It is converting of lipids into droplets of lipids. Then the pancreas releases three types of enzymes: lipase, amylase and trypsin. Lipase acts on that emulsified lipid and turns them into glycerol and fatty acids, and that ends up the lipid digestion. Then the amylase. Why amylase again? We found amylase in the buccal cavity. So if any molecule of starch is left out or missed out in the buccal cavity, they get the second chance. The amylase in the pancreatic juice will turn starch into maltose again, and the same way the protein also gets the second chance. The trypsin present in pancreatic juice can turn protein into polypeptide for the second time. In the meantime, intestine itself secrete intestinal juices onto the food. That contains four types of enzymes. Number one, peptidase, maltase, sucrase and lactase. These enzymes ends up digestion. The peptidase act on polypeptides and turn them into amino acids. Then the maltase act on maltose and turn them into glucose. Sucrase acts on sucrose sugar, the disaccharide, and turn them into glucose and fructose. Lactase act on lactose sugar and turn them into glucose and galactose. Now we have a list of end products. We have glucose, fructose, galactose, amino acids. Then what happens to all these end products? They are being absorbed into the blood. For that, the latter part of the intestine has modified as a brush surface. This brush surface has the ability to absorb each and every molecule of end products. For that, it is modified as finger-like projections. These are called villi. So let's take a closer look at the villi. So here you can see there's a network of capillaries. So they have come here in search of food, the digested end products. They have been absorbed into the capillary network here. But what is that structure in the middle, the white color structure? It's called the lacteal. It's a kind of a lymphatic vessel. It has come here to absorb digestive end product of lipid digestion, glycerol and fatty acids. So glycerol and fatty acids are absorbed by the lacteal in the middle. The digestion ends in the small intestine. Then what happens in the large intestine or the colon? Here the food has less amount of nutrients. Not only that, the water content and undigested cellulose. The water is absorbed into the body, and the remainings will form the feces or stools. They are temporarily stored in the rectum and removed by the anal opening. And that's how one of the favorite events of your life ends. Two remainders. One, the babies, the infants. In their stomach, they contain an enzyme known as renin, which can coagulate the milk that they drink. Second, the minerals and the vitamins, they do not undergo digestion. Why? Initially they are simple and they are easy to absorb. They are absorbed into the blood directly. So that concludes our digestive system. Hope to see you soon with respiratory system. Till then, goodbye.